Hello and welcome to another weekend of a Punters Guide. Lots to look forward to this weekend. Sit on the racing front. It's a Betfred sponsored card and Haydock delighted to be there on Merseyside. We're also at Chester and Beverley in front of the ITV cameras. And again, we're building up towards Royal Ascot. Jason, a couple of group races, some juveniles in action at Beverley as well. Plenty of pointers to the Royal Meeting once again.
Absolutely. All divisions covered, basically, haven't we? From the sprinters who need to throw their hat into the ring. Otherwise, Golden Pal is going to be coming over and giving us an absolute good old USA arse whipping. That is for sure, isn't it? And you're right. The Haydock card, fantastic. Big money on offer. That's why we've got good racing.
It certainly is. Right, let's just stuck into it then. It is the Betfred Nifty 50 Achilles Stakes that kickstarts the ITV coverage at Haydock. It is for the sprint. And I know you're a big fan of Dragon Symbol. It's not quite Last Chance Saloon, but it's a drop in class and really needs to win to be taking high rank amongst the best sprinters this season now.
He's got to win today, to be honest. I think that it's a fairly quick turnaround, just 17 days away. We always talk whenever we're discussing form about the riders and who you like to back and who does you a good turn or whatever, up against the absolute elite, like a James Doyle, a William Buick, a Ryan Moore, those sort of guys. There's very little between them. And that should be the same in the trainers division as well. Because if Roger Varian can't match what Archie Watson did with Dragon Symbol, it's a poor showing and he'll be absolutely kicking himself. I think this is Last Chance Saloon. If he doesn't win here, it's going to be very much the slippery slope as far as he is concerned, and we won't see him again, and he'll be shipped off somewhere else. Tab Deed goes in the lineup, who has his second or third try for the Archie Watson team and his first try down at the minimum trip. He was a really good horse, and it was picked up for 110,000 at the Horses in Training sale. Look, I think Dragon Symbol's going to win. I think that I'll be keeping a close eye on Tab Deed. They're not drawn that far away from each other. So, Symbol to get back on track. Otherwise, he can wave goodbye to Golden Pal.
Interesting thoughts. And yes, the sprint division does look quite wide open. We'll move on to the handicap, the mile and a half handicap at 220, the Betfred double light handicap, of course, double light on the Betfred Challenge Cup this afternoon. A mile and a half is the trip. Mahrajaan makes his return consistent last season. Forza Auto second at York down the bottom. What I thought was quite a lot of pace on in this race. It could be quite a bit of a stamina test.
I suppose you've got State of Bliss, Volcanic Sky, Zabeel Champion. Those horses like to go handy. Zabeel Champion's been dropped a couple, was a fairly decent performer on the flat, did well over hurdles as well. Didn't really pull up any trees. You got Kelly's Dinos, an old Newton Cup winner, but coming back off a massive layoff. And Rock Eagle, the same, 421 days. There are a few in here with question marks. Now, Contact was a very good winner at Newmarket. Only put up £5, has to be respected. Pat on the back to Ben Curtis. We always say that the girly flat jockeys are the weaklings, don't we, compared to the jumps lads. A bit of rain. Ooh, don't want to go out and race. He popped his shoulder out last weekend at Haydock and was in agony in the weighing room. They couldn't get it back in. Had to get taken to the hospital to have the old shoulder popped into its place. He's back. He's riding. He rode a winner already. I mean, remarkable. So good lad, Ben Curtis. But Mahrajaan, who you mentioned, he went through the gears nicely. Leicester, Ripon, Hamilton. Probably travelled the best as well when he was third last time, really strongly. That was over a quarter of a mile further. He comes back in trip. He's an obvious selection, isn't he, for a yard that are flying?
Yeah, he certainly is, Mahrajaan. Haggis always going to have his next loser. Yeah, made of stern stuff, aren't they, these jockeys? That's for sure. We move on to the 255 then. It is the Betfred Pinnacle Stakes of Group 3, 4 fillies and mares over a mile and a half. I was hoping Alba Flores entered would turn up. I thought she was worth taking on. I was disappointed at Chester, but she is out. We've got Sela Rosa, very impressive, winning the River Eden at Ling for the back end of last season. And Noon Star, who was a little bit disappointing herself on the Naves Mile last time out, but won at Nottingham on her seasonal reappearance and is beautifully bred.
Yeah, Noon Star was majorly disappointing. It looked like she'd gone the springboard route back in form at Nottingham. And they were trying to say that she was badly placed in the Middleton. She just wasn't good enough. I couldn't see why all of a sudden she's going to find an extra leg from somewhere. I looked at the Harrington runner, Climber. I thought that was a good run up behind Dreamloper, not beaten too far at Newmarket, sort of staying on. And when you work your way, I mean, unless Nell quickly has found another leg, because she started off handicapping last year off 79. So she's coming through the grades, could be a big winner. I think that Lady Hayes, who bumped into Bart Zeller at Goodwood last time, the front two were a little way clear. Admittedly, the third has come out and slightly disappointed afterwards, but they were a good way clear. She's tough, she's straightforward, and I like the fact that her 2 runs here previously were a very easy win, and she was second in the Lancashire Oaks. That was to Alpinista. Very, very good form. I think she's flying under the radar at double-digit odds.
Yeah, then Lady Hayes, another one for Roger Vane. Could be a good day for him at Haydock. I move on to the John O'Gaunt Stakes, the Betfred John O'Gaunt at 3:30 for these 7 furlong specialists. Kinross won this race last year. He's back for more. Sunray Major with popular under Frankie, and our old friend Laneqash making his comeback, his seasonal appearance. Could fresh be the time to catch Laneqash?
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. He may well be better off the back of a little bit of a break. Anybody who's lucky enough to have a look at these or on your screens in the Betfred shop, Sunray Major, if it was a beauty contest, he'd win hands down. He's an absolute cracker. Spycatcher, in the form of his life, but he has very bad feet. They struggle to keep him sound. Not ideal for a running athlete, is it? But he's very, very talented. Pogo's the likely pace. He's probably going to make it tough for them to pick him up. Kinross, Laneqash, who's had the cruelest cut of all. I don't know why. I didn't think he did anything wrong, but he's been gelded since we last saw him. He's definitely very, very good, fresh. And it might just set up for him. Pogo's the only pace. He can draft right on his tail. Spycatcher's going to be held up way at the back of the pack. He might just get the run on him. 7 furlongs around here. It's pretty quick. So we'll give Laneqash a roll of the dice.
Yeah, it's interesting. They're stuck with him. They didn't have Aldar in the contest earlier on in the week, but they're stuck with Laneqash. I say it could be fresh. The time to catch him. Let's move up to the West. With fingers crossed, all's okay. Of course, at Beverley, they did lose half a meeting earlier on in the week, but there's nothing wrong with the straight course. That's got a couple of contests on. The 205 is the Hillary Needler. I remember this won by traction a few years ago. Absolutely flawless to be popular, Jason. Won the Lily Agnes and William Buick, a rare foray to the westward.
Yeah, sad, isn't it? Laura Pearson, she's obviously off or out at the moment, and was a big winner. Probably, I think the race set up beautifully for Absolutely Flawless. They went very quick. They fell in a hole, and she absolutely powered home. I'd love to see it for David Lowe of Catchy fame, because he's a great lad. I looked through the others. They're all struggling a bit, aren't they, to sort of match that form. And I know that Star of Lady M was behind Absolutely Flawless in the Lily Agnes, but she's better than that. She got herself in a bit of a tiz beforehand. It wasn't her true running. Prior to that, she looked really good when winning at Ripon. Danny's fresh off a big win. Maria Branwell, I think it was, wasn't it, who won the National as well. So the form of the stable is absolutely red hot. I think that Star of Lady M could turn that form around. I'm going to forgive her a bad day at the office, because they'll go flat out here, and she could just get a nice little draft from stall number 4.
There we go. Then that's the Star Lady M. She's got a favourite, don't forget, of course, for that Lily Agnes. So we move on to the 240 then, Jason, and William Buick again will probably be the attracting most of the punters on Percy's Lad. He's a hat-trick seeker after winning easily at Yarmouth and last time at Nottingham. He's dropping to 7 furlongs, but it is a stiff 7 here at Beverley.
And he loves to front run. The chances with him getting an easy on the front end have been limited somewhat, because I'm a gambler, will definitely go forward and lean on his shoulder. Now, Daniel and Claire Kubler, they inherited this horse from Eve Johnson Horton, was a very good juvenile, rated up close to 100. Where he is at the moment, he jumped in at Yarmouth, won easy. He's followed up again afterwards at Nottingham, easy fashion. He just crept back up there again. I'm going to take it's not a flyer, because he won't be a huge price, but Wobwobwob ran a really good race behind Dakota Gold last time. He goes back up in trip. Ryan Sexton takes off 5. Really good lad. Now he's chasing hard between Benoit de la Salle, who's leading the apprentice title, and Harry Davis. I just feel that he's going to get the nice draft into the race. It's great when you can drop in around Beverley. It's a lovely track. I know they always call it a front runner's track, same as Ripon, but there's going to be a bit of pace on here. and it'll set up, I think, for a closer. And Wobwobwob may well be able to do that.
Yeah, he's caught the iron season return and wasn't too beaten too far York either last time at Wobwobwob. It's certainly of interest in that 7-furlong handicap. It's the juveniles again at 3:15. The Colts, though, this time, 8 of them set to go to post. And would Whistle and Flute be many people's idea of a banker? May bumped into one at Ascot last time out.
Yeah, he bumped into Bakil, who's obviously Royal Ascot bound from the Baldwin team. He carried a penalty that day. He ran quite quick, admittedly, but his win prior to that was in a fairly slow time at Bath, 1:02. And I've had my anorak on and had a little look about the times and also the trains that pass by here at Newmarket. And he's on the clock anyway. There's one that just jumps out a little bit at me, and it's JM Jungle at the top of John Quinn's. Now, they cracked a minute up at Hamilton, despite not going that quick early on. The coming home sectionals were very, very good indeed. He travelled the best in the race. He was switched late on. The horse that he caught was absolutely going pelters up towards the line. So, JM Jungle, I think, is a pretty decent type. I love the fact he's drawn on the fence. Now, people say, oh, you could get in trouble. You could. Listen, that's the art of being a jockey. You've got to draft in behind. You've got to get in that peloton and ride some sort of race until late on. You can lose it early, that is for sure. So just drop in and give him a chance. I think he's pretty good.
There we are. Then to stay in the north at this prize, and yeah, the draw is all important, of course. At Belly, low numbers. Favoured almost as important as it is at Chester, and that's the last race we're going to preview here, the 3:45 as well. And I've got your old favourite, Humanitarian. I wonder if he's going to pick up his widest of all in stall 11 there. Look, 4 course and distance winners in here. Boardman, Fools Rush In. Oh, this is us and Gabriel the Wire. Are they the ones to focus on?
It's funny, isn't it? Humanitarian, I can't give him another shout. They've only dropped him £2 after 2 runs and he's shown next to nothing. How can they just give him £2? Well, I think Stuart Williams is planning a mighty plot or something. Well, from 11, I don't think he's going to be doing too much around here, and we can expect another drop in the handicap. One who's not drawn particularly well, but popped up at a huge price is Pensiero de Moor, who goes for Marco Botti and Pat Cosgrave. Now, he was 33 to 1. He popped up at Kempton. He was a bit of an eye catcher behind Shine So Bright last time, just in a bit of a pocket when the race was starting, and he stayed on under hands and heels. Had some really good form back in Italy when trained by one of the Botti clan previously in decent level contests. So I think he's probably a touch underestimated. Tom Free ran really well last time. He's likely to go forward or handy with Fools Rush In and Azano. I think they're all going to set it up. Yeah, I'll have to stick with Pensiero de Moor at an each way price.
Italian winner on the Rudy this Saturday afternoon. Right, 8 races looked at. What would be the idea of a best bet on the card this weekend?
Yep, as I mentioned, had my anorak on analysing the times, and I know that they're all different tracks and different variations of ground. But if you can crack a minute up at Hamilton, and when they haven't gone that quick early on, Joe Fanning controlling it on the front end. The coming home sectionals were good, and I think if they went quicker, he would have won further. So JM Jungle.
Oh, yeah, stiff finish at Hamilton, stiff finish at Beverley. We know he acts on those type of tracks. Brilliant stuff. Thanks to Jason. You can watch him on the ITV cameras. He's going to be at the Betfred sponsored card at Haydock this weekend. And wherever you are back in, the very best of luck.